Hello, everybody. I am the Azure Butterfly, or Azure for short, or simply Rachel, and I am playing Ingrid of Sintra, the Bear Witcher.
Hello! I'm as on the day to day as I was on the social medias because I think I'm funny. And today I'll be playing everybody's favorite criminal, Relg.
Our favorite criminal, our favorite witchers, our favorite bards we have assembled here today for a glorious purpose, I'm sure. Um, as I said, no announcements, no delays, so let's jump into today's episode of Ways of Old. And we begin each episode, as we always do, with a recap. Ingrid, if you would kindly.
Oh, yes, right. Hold on. Let me actually open up my. Hold on. I got this. I'm so sorry. There we go. Episode notes. Scrolling down. Last time on Witcher Ways of Old. The episode begins the following morning after a night of interrogations and song, Calamus having swayed Walnut to our side, or at least no longer our direct enemy. Being the first to awake due to the watch, Calamus gets a campfire blazing along with a pot of tea brewing before going out to find and speak with Cersei in the wagon. He tells her about Wilbur's change of heart, and the two contemplate where to send him. The possibility of Aretuza being an option. Calamus then moves to awaken the others while Cersei goes to speak with Wesley. Ingrid, who had already been awake, decided to go out at the crack of dawn to hunt some food for the group. Seeing Ingrid go into the forest alone, Relg would stealthily follow behind the pair, traversing the forest swiftly and quietly. Ingrid hunting for game, while Relg began foraging for herbs. Meanwhile, back at Camp Mage Tree, Cersei confronts Wesley, debating removing the shackles, but not just yet. Instead, Cersei offers the mage asylum at Aretuza, but even with his change of heart, the tree-chained mage refused. Cersei questions how long Elodie had been imprisoned by Renwick, being told that she'd only been captured for roughly a few weeks at most. Calamus then joins Cersei and Walter, offering both tea. Then, having overheard the conversation, questions where the mage plans to go to find shelter. The mage then detailing his intent to go to Gwyson Hall, the heart of magic learning in Nilfgaard, to the concern of both Calamus and Cersei. Calamus then offers William the chance to instead find safe haven within Dol B'Thana. After a bit of convincing, the mage reluctantly accepts. Calamus having leveraged what he had learned about Winston's past, including his father, to convince him. Back with Team Sneaky Bear, Relg harvests some helpful healing herbs, including aloe and numbing herbs, whilst Ingrid manages to sneak up and take down a deer with her bare hands and sword. Um, Picking up the deer and preparing to return to camp, it is then that Ingrid, to her shock, takes note of Relg's presence. The pair begin to walk back to camp together, sharing that they both left to separate themselves from the crispy camp mage, not wishing to disrupt Cersei and Calamus's flow. Lore drop, Ingrid's birthday is in 5 days from the current day, turning 60 on May 25th, 1271. At this point, the pair had now made it back to camp. The group reconvenes around a campfire while Ingrid cleans the deer for cooking. Discussion is had about the fate of Warren, to the concern of Ingrid and Relg, who are not so quick to trust the freshly turned mage, warning them of Renwick's methods of trying of tying up loose ends. Ingrid agrees with the outcome of letting the mage go to Dol B'Thana under the condition of the mage undergoing one last round of questioning under the duress of Axie, to which everyone, including the mage, agrees. Calamus prepares the mage while Ingrid cooks the meat perfectly. Using several castings of Axie on Wallace, Ingrid asks several questions, including his intention after being freed, the number of other mages working for Renwick, any weaknesses he might have had, the state of the binding ritual, finding out that it's already been broken with the death of the other higher vampire mage, and where Elodie is being kept at Heron Kaduk. Her final question being if he meant what he had said about his thoughts of the Witcher's brethren, to which he called them a blight. With Ingrid's questioning done, Relg had one themselves, inquiring whom the so-called Duchess he knew was. Rel getting the mysterious confirmation that he was looking for. Waldo was then released, with Calamus offering to walk him a ways from the camp to be on his way, not before giving back some of his belongings. Not wanting their friend to go alone with the likes of Waylon, Relg and Ingrid sneak and follow behind, flanking the pair through the trees along the path. Along the way, Calamus returns the music box to Wallaby, and the two share a dialogue before Calamus also offers the mage his cloak for protection, only for it to be rejected, the mage reasoning that Calamus would need it more in the battles to come. However, before parting, the mage offers Calamus a gift, a container of untamed bottled chaos, a last-ditch weapon of sorts. With last kind words shared, Wesrold vanishes, having teleported away. Now alone, Calamus calls out for Relg, having assumed he had followed, only for Ingrid to appear to his shock, with Relg then taking the opportunity to further surprise the poor bard. A dialogue ensues between the three, with Ingrid detailing how she handles sentient monsters, including the Bruxa they had just dealt with not only a day before, as well as Ingrid's methods for fighting Renwick and why. Not long after, Calamus returns to camp, leaving Relg and Ingrid to have a dialogue as to how she feels responsible for Elodie's capture and her desire to save her for Cersei's sake. Back at camp, Cersei investigates the ring she kept from the mage, finding it made of crystallized blood as Calamus returns. And that is where we had ended up.
Well done, Ingrid, save for the for the numerous intentional
12.
errors of
There's 12.
Wesrold's
We counted.
name and the crime against the culinary efforts of the entirety of the world. Very well done, and I appreciate it.
Like the steak.
This is where we pick up. This is where we pick up our story, our tale, our journey. Our heroes have reunited at camp and have moments to themselves. The scene is yours, heroes. What will you do next?
Well, Calamus arrived first, right? So you had intentions talking with Cersei?
Yeah. Calamus will just walk up to Cersei and just kind of very uncharacteristically, ungracefully, just kind of flops onto the ground.
Holding the ring, just... Are you okay?
I am utterly exhausted.
Me too.
You got a trinket.
Did. Figured I'd keep it as a souvenir.
What does it do?
All I can ascertain is that it is in contact with another ring. We can't put it on, lest Renwick knows where we are. But if I can figure out how to replace the blood inside of it, and of course steal the ring off of Renwick's cold corpse, then I may be able to communicate with someone with the other ring.
Interesting. I have something fun.
She narrows her eyes but smiles. What's that?
Produces the canopic jar.
Why do you have that?
Because I am a dashing lad.
Fair.
Do you know what it is? Because I know what it is now.
Well, didn't Reswold say it's just contains chaos? Yes.
Yes, but it is. He made mention that it's some sort of untamed chaos. I don't know if that makes a difference.
Chaos is chaos.
I mean, by definition.
Yes.
Is it really that? Is it that close to like common parlance use of the word?
Well, if not controlled, things can go south very quickly.
So then what do you call controlled chaos? Magic?
Magic.
Absolutely astounding. I have a question for you.
What's that?
What happens if I drink it?
She'll like tilt her head, want to say so many things, but just like, and then finally she'll say, I don't think you can.
What I
Is it a
mean,
liquid?
I have no idea. And I am not feeling risque enough to just open it. Look.
Yes, he said he didn't say it was a bomb per se, but
But he made it
certainly.
sound like it's a bomb.
Right.
Here's an even bigger question. Maybe even a better question. Can we use it to make me magic? I mean, I already have so much magic about myself, but real magic.
Oh, well, she'll like actually kind of go silent for a second, her eyes darting back and forth. I mean, to access chaos is a gift, but if you were to access chaos, maybe? But I don't know how that would be possible.
Sounds like we have some homework.
You know, I know somebody who can be of better help than I.
Ooh, friends.
Mentor.
Oh dear. Should I put on my dancing clothes or?
I'll send a letter with the question. See if it reaches
I
her.
see. Very well, very well. Are you alright? You've gone through a lot in the last few days.
I'm carrying on.
It's not what I asked, my darling.
She'll pocket the ring and she'll actually get off the ledge of the cart and sit down on the ground, her back to like the wheel. I don't think so. I don't think I'm okay.
I know the feeling. Normally, this is the part where I would, if I didn't know better, I would weave together a few vaguely inspirational quotes to try and get you up and ready to go, but I don't know, you're too smart for that nonsense. Sometimes you just don't feel okay. And that's
No.
also okay.
It doesn't feel okay.
I mean, everyone feels horrible sometime. Some people feel horrible all of the time.
It's fair. Just can't get the image out of my head what I saw. The day we met.
I do not. I envy your ability to do magic, but I do not envy what you saw and what you will continue to see with it. That is the burden of great power, is it not?
Yeah. It is.
We're going to get her back. I don't know her from a goddess, but Relg seems committed to this. And
Yeah.
there are a few precious few things more important than love.
I'll actually start tearing up.
And there's no greater motivator, there's no greater medicine to soothe a wound. Love, we are love given physical form.
That's so.
At least that's what I put in my songs. It makes the ladies swoon.
I'm sure it does.
Where's Relg?
Kind of looking. I imagine they're coming. Two
They
of them.
both. Oh, okay, right.
You left
yes.
us.
Right. I'm sorry. It was all.
We were
You were
walking
with us. We
team.
were going to talk with you too, and you're like, nah, bye.
Yeah,
I-
you skedaddled, so Relg and Ingrid paused, and we're just having a nice conversation. Eventually, we'll walk back, but you
Well, I mean, I
booked
figured we were walking and talking.
I'm so used to him just being like perpetually like my shadow. I don't. It's very strange that he's not within arm's reach.
And can Relg and Ingrid have snuck up on them?
I would say you can arrive at this point. As far as sneaking, that would require rolls from everybody.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right, let's do this. We're gonna stealth again.
Calamus is laying on his back, just looking up at the sky. So I'm going to elect not to roll.
Perfect.
Cersei's always on high alert with her ears at the very least.
I am
Intelligence
still
rolls.
not in my armor. So
Excellent.
Perfect.
So that's 10 plus 4 is 14 plus.
Basic math, the worst.
No,
math.
that's dexterity.
22.
Right? Yeah, it's dexterity.
Yeah.
So it's 11 plus 4 is 15 plus 22.
Excellent.
24.
Oh,
24. Well, even not in your armor, which, by the way, very good to know. Cersei, you pick up the footfalls, the crunching bit of leaves. Your friends are near.
I think they're coming. How did
Very
you
well.
and Relg meet?
It's a fascinating story. You see, I was doing what bards do, and I was playing in a little pub in Temeria. And I was watching all of the patrons trying to canvass who would alight upon my bedpost. And I saw him there. Playing cards. And let's just say it was an interesting evening.
I could imagine. It's the best evenings, usually.
The person I took to bed, I wouldn't remember her face if she was standing right in front of me, but I do remember watching Relg do just the niftiest little card trick. Caught my attention. He's a smooth operator, as it were. But you said we were talking about Dandelion's tunes before.
Yep.
Like
We had-
yesterday.
Yes.
And Calamus will grab their lyre and start to play Her Sweet Kiss.
Oh, Cersei will smile and feel warm fuzzies.
Rogue's gonna lean into Ingrid and be like, "That's not exactly how I remembered it."
Memory is usually a weird thing, though I do know bards usually tend to exaggerate a lot.
The two of you are near enough where you would hear the tone of her sweet kiss.
Oh, I figured at this point, because we heard already could be
Yeah,
heard.
yeah.
We're just like hanging out at that point. We're just
By all means.
didn't want to interrupt. So Ingrid is going to say, probably not a good idea to play too loudly. We don't want to give away our position, given that we are still not too far from Bruges.
I'm counting on your sharp eyes and sharper ears to let us know if anything hears us that isn't one of these inane tree rats that run around this forest.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to get my armor on. She says as she goes to the wagon to don her armor, Ramos.
Also very good to know.
Recovery action.
Recovery action.
Oh yeah, can we do the recovery action? It's what our... Let me see.
It's your
in the
recovery
comments.
stat.
Oh, right, recovery.
Mhm.
Given
my
that,
recovery is 10.
given that it is a bit of a lull, there's no impending danger that we are aware of, you can go ahead and just continuously take recovery action and refill your stamina if you would like.
Sweet, that's all 50 stamina back.
Does Cersei look like she's been crying
Actually, yeah, that's a good
still,
question.
or
Yeah, she'll like as soon as they approach.
Is everything okay? She says that
what did
she's
you say to her?
wrapping.
Hold on. How? Don't try and turn this on me. People cry sometimes, Relg. Maybe you should try it.
Ingrid is just going to ask Cersei, did he upset you?
No. I was just thinking about Elodie. That's all.
Ingrid's going to nod and then just look away for a second as she's continuing to put her armor on, considering the conversation that was just had with Relg at that point.
We got a good lead on her.
Yes, we did. No more. Know everything I needed to now.
You still have the compass.
Of course.
Where is it pointing?
Where's the pointing, Game Master?
Southward, it has not moved.
Same direction.
Good. Then we are still closer to our goal. We're closer to saving her.
And just for curiosity's sake, our goal is...
To kill Renwick. To wipe his stain from Heron Kaduk and save Elodie.
Yes. Is that where we're going now?
The
We
long
need
way
those
around.
relics.
Yes.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Relics. What is a relic?
Ingrid is going to pull out the notes that she kept from Nyoka. And what are the relics again?
You
Storyteller?
are on a mission to find Fate and the Succubus Wand. And as you pass information, Calamus, you may of course feel free to make a roll. These are items with stories to them, and you are indeed a master of stories. So,
I believe we did talk about the succubus wand because there was the conversation about the siren. It's the other one we don't know too much about yet. If my memory
do we wanna
serves
make
correct,
this-
which it very rarely does.
Do we want to make this an intelligence and fine arts?
So the standard rule for this is education, but if you can make an argument for fine arts, by all means.
What is a
I
relic
mean-
if not a fine art?
And what is storytelling if not the finest of arts?
Playing to my own heartstrings, very well. Take fine arts.
Ooh, that explodes.
Nice. We love exploding dice in this household.
That would be a 28.
28. So,
No more than we do.
which would you like to hear about first, Calamus?
Fate, because that's an interesting name for a relic.
Fun one.
It is said that Fate was created by a dwarven swordsman who was hard-headed but superstitious. He lived an entire life fighting and then finally settled down into song. He became relatively kind of fat and happy and was just a reasonably good vinter in his retirement. He married a woman from the south and a few children. But danger doesn't leave old fighters alone like it should. After the third child was seen off, he was strolling through the main square of the town that he lived in. An old woman caught him by the arm and warned him that there was a shadow of death surrounding him, and he'd soon be meeting his end. Now, being a superstitious individual that he was, he took this to heart. He moved through town more carefully, jumping at shadows and sort of living in fear. He didn't tell his wife for fear of upsetting her. He lived this way for a great deal of time. 2 months straight, in fact. Till he was tired of running from possibility. And he sought to take his fate into his own hands. He gathered up all the silver in his home, purchased what more that he could, and with it forged a beautiful, beautiful sword and called it Fate. Carried it with him everywhere. Eventually, he met another woman. A beautiful human woman with raven black hair and fell to her waist and skin as pale as the moon on a clear night. They had a fine conversation about all manner of things, from smithing to baking. As night fell, as Vladov excused himself, she began to follow, to stalk, to hunt. In a dark street on the outskirts of the town, she revealed her true form of a Bruxa, who'd been looking for a meal after her long sleep. But Vladov, being superstitious, carried fate with him everywhere. Now, he was old, and unfortunately not at the speed that he once was, but it couldn't match her speed, but it did hold her at bay. And shining through the moonlight up until daybreak, he held his own. He managed to ward her off long enough where she would feel that this meal was too much trouble. She left, and he returned home and explained everything to his wife, who gave him quite the earful. Vladov made his own fate and survived the old witch's curse. This is the relic that your companion seeks for their own.
You know, the first time I ever heard that story was from the old lady in the village, Bonnie Craddock.
That is a name.
Old Vladov Hardskull. The Ballad of Vlad of Hardskull. It's a tale as old as time.
I can't say I've heard that one.
I
I-
will tell it sometime.
Yes, I have not heard it either. Us finding these relics, if I remember correctly, being the lore keeper of this campaign, these relics were found by Nyoka. The information for these relics were found by Nyoka on the body of his old grandmaster, correct?
One of his companions, not his
Oh, companions.
grandmaster, I don't believe. Cogram.
Yes. Okay. So we just know that they exist, but I did not know the story behind them.
Oh, it's a sword made by an old superstitious dwarf. Used it to hold up for Bruxa until daybreak, yada yada yada. The rest of the story is really interesting, but not for right now.
I mean, that sounds
Calamus.
exactly like what we need.
If you
Is
would
there
like...
something going on that... Oh, go ahead.
No, please.
Is there something going on with you? You're passing up the opportunity to sing one of your ballads. What happened while we were gone?
It just seems like it's in poor taste at the moment.
Did Wallaby do something to you?
Okay, let's get something very clear. That man, Wezerald, is deserving of the dignity of being called his name, at the very least.
I did not remember his name. I only heard his name once.
Ingrid, you are an absolute delight.
Hey, to be perfectly
Anyway.
fair, Azure is being a dick. Ingrid only literally heard the name once, barely, and yeah.
I'm just... I don't know. I guess as strange as it seems, I guess I'm not in much of a storytelling mood at the moment.
Of stories, Calamus. I'm not sure if we had you roll for the succubus one last time we spoke about it. You may
did.
do so now if you would like. Oh, did I?
Yep.
Excellent. Perfect. Continue, please.
So, we're going to fetch these items of wondrous power and storm the keep and slay the vampires. Yes?
Something along those lines, though higher vampires are a little more difficult to stay dead.
Only a higher vampire can kill a higher vampire.
We could also just imprison them.
So, if only a higher vampire can kill a higher vampire, what are we really doing?
Saving
Well,
Elodie.
saving Elodie.
I was going
So
to
the
say
destruction of Renwick is a secondary objective?
It's a primary objective, but we need Elodie to accomplish this.
And
Right, because she's a higher vampire.
now you're
It's
catching
all
on.
it's all coming full circle.
Ingrid is kind of looking a little distraught for a second, and then she's going to look to Cersei, and she's going to say, I hope I did not say too much with that.
they knew when I told them that she survived being dismembered.
Oh, that is fair. I was already leaving by that point, I think.
Yeah, you stepped out of the room.
Quite.
No,
Yes.
we're
I
getting Elodie so we can get Renwick, and we're going to kill all of his associates as well.
To the best of our
Lo-
capabilities.
loads of murder there, and I'm don't get me wrong, very about that when it comes to the right people. Maybe, not really. I don't. Okay.
Ingrid is glaring at you when you use the word murder and associate with taking them out, especially after the conversation we just had.
Something you'd like to say?
It is not murder when it's going against someone who would kill you as well. It is self-defense, and it is also protecting those that they may yet destroy themselves. I would not consider that murder. I would consider that a contract.
As you very well should, given your vocation, but I would like to point out that those two things aren't mutually exclusive. Killing in self-defense is murder, nonetheless. These are the vagaries of life.
Ingrid is going to look to Relg at that point.
No, I plan on murdering her. That's what I'm going to do to that woman.
See what I mean, Ingrid?
But I understand where you're coming from, Ingrid. I understand vaguely, based on what I've been told, what that man did.
Killing is murder, is culling, they're all just words for the same thing. It suits one's semantic purposes to use what word they wish, and you can often tell quite a good deal about someone by the word they choose to describe killing.
That is fair enough. She's going to say confused a little bit at the same time, but...
We could talk about that more another time, Ingrid. So, understood. The objective is now clear.
Sorry, I'm also staving off a sneeze.
So, we have a few hours until noon. We should probably start along our way.
Yes.
We should probably get moving, especially since we just released
A potential threat, yes.
that's what we'll call him, so Kyle doesn't get upset at me again.
He's not a threat.
I followed you in the off chance that he was going to take advantage of you being alone with him, and I was going to kill him right then and there, should he try.
I'm aware that was your intent, but he wouldn't have done that. You don't know him the way I know him.
How?
You've known him
I have a
for
very
2
specific...
goddamn days. Cal, you have to...
Ingrid is
yourself
going
in
to
these
raise a
positions.
hand really quick, and she's going to say, How old are you, Calamus?
I don't see how that is relevant to the conversation.
You mentioned going through the fall of Sintra. How old were you when that happened? I'm aging you. Ingrid is going to math this as best as she can.
The fall of Sintra was like 8 years ago, 9 years ago, somewhere in there.
I think it's at a decade at this point, or something along those lines.
The fall of Sintra was during the start, I believe, of the Second Nilfgaardian War, which would have been... I don't know why I'm trying to, rely on my goldfish brain. I have the entirety of human information at my fingertips. Please stand by.
Yeah, internet.
$1263.
So yeah, just about almost a decade.
Yeah, that was the attack. The occupation, all that.
Was not yet a man grown.
You were a child.
Not now.
No, I said you were a child.
Yes.
When that happened.
I was.
So quite young. She says as she looks to Relg, then.
I don't understand. That has nothing to do with the conversation at hand.
It does.
Experience.
I have a sense for people. I see what people don't want me to see. And what Wezrold didn't want me to see is that he's a broken son of a dead father. Looking for a home and a family. and we provided him a positive alternative, and he took it. Same way, when I look at you, Ingrid, I see a woman who is strong and fierce, and all of that strength and fierceness covers a deep wound.
Ingrid tenses.
All right, so this conversation is going to go nowhere.
Oh, you wait your turn, Relquithane.
This is just a tea episode.
I see in people what they do not wish for others to see. And it takes something inhuman, non-elf, dwarf, halfling, or gnome to deceive me. With all due respect, I know what I'm doing.
Ingrid's gonna take a breath. This is a complicated matter, and I believe that you know what you're doing, and that is okay, because that's what, at the end of the day, all of us do. What I was getting at is your age shows your optimism, or vice versa. This world takes a lot from people, and rarely does it have happy endings. And rarely are things as simple as being able to change one's ways and one's allegiances at the mere spilling of words. I am what this world made me. That is, you are right in that it has broken several aspects of me. And it has just revealed to me the truth that people do so rarely change completely, or at least that quickly. It may be momentary, it may be in the now, but he himself even said it when I used Axie, that should he be captured, he would be Renwick's.
I'll let it change.
Do you know why? Do you know why that is? That is a good point. From what?
How long did that take?
I never asked, but she did.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying that change that quick so rarely takes hold.
It certainly is with that attitude.
Not everyone has your countenance, Calmus.
No, but it is a choice. Everyone could, if they let themselves.
Ingrid's going to smile a little bit. And then she's going to walk up to Calamus and attempt to lay a hand on his shoulder and squeeze it lightly.
Calamus is still laying in the dirt, staring at her.
Oh, you're laying
staring at the sky.
You're
Just
lounging?
breaking down everyone's trauma, just lounging.
Yeah, just
The best
straight
kind
up,
of therapist.
just straight up kicking it.
The therapist who lays on the couch themselves is like, hey, just so you guys know, you should be better.
Okay,
Yours
then
kind of fucked, bro.
I will amend this, and and have her instead just kind of rest herself up against, because Cersei, you're sitting at the wheel of the wagon.
Yeah, she's on the ground, her back against the wheel.
I would say then Ingrid is going to press her back against like the back facing wall of the wagon. And then she's going to say, I hope, even with everything that I've said, I hope that your optimism does ring true. Don't mistake my words, my own understanding for a total lack of empathy or a total lack of understanding of of I see a lot of a particular someone in you that I knew once so very long ago. And I don't want to see what happened to him happen to you. I don't want to see the world break that down.
Would you care to do a thought exercise with me? Very quickly, Ingrid.
We're going full therapist. Okay.
Thought exercise? Like,
Yes, just
do
through
I
a
need to
series
get
of
out of my armor?
No. Just through a series of acknowledgements, perhaps gain understanding.
Okay.
Do you believe that the heart is a wild thing?
Relg is gonna sit down next to Cersei, pull out a wineskin, take a swig, and pass it to her.
He'll take it.
Perfect.
I guess so. Yes, depending on what you mean by that.
That the heart is free. The heart wants what it wants. It goes where it pleases.
Yes.
Would you also agree that a bear is a wild animal?
Speaking as yes.
Now, follow me. When you put a collar and a chain on a bear, how oft does that bear resign itself to the chain?
Did we ever keep bears at Heron Kaduk?
I would say probably not.
about to
It's
say,
a
yeah.
it's a fantastic sigil. It's a fantastic emblem, but keeping a bear is dangerous and ill-advised.
I would assume, based on my understanding, that they would not.
Then, by comparison, if the heart and the bear are both wild things, the chain that you are binding your heart with is that you are what they made you. You've chosen that chain. You may believe it to be true, but you are so much more than any one thing, any multitude of things that could chain you down.
Jesus fucking Christ! This is as you're thinking, which chain could he be possibly think? Because there's several.
You are a powerful woman, free and strong. The only things that can bind you are the things you choose. You are a bear inside and out. A bear does not resign itself to its chain. It lashes and it rages and it breaks free. And you can break free from those ideas that you have of yourself and of the world whenever you choose. But you must choose it to break free from them. Just as I'm sure Elodie did.
We've known this man for 2 days. Well, 3. God. Ingrid is looking very conflicted right now.
Calamus will
And-
pull out their own wineskin and just...
Freedom, as you say, is a nice thought. And it's something in my younger years that I thought of more. The freedom of travel, the freedom of taking what contracts I deem worthy of myself. The freedom to be around those I desire to be. And all I can think of at the end of the day are what I have lost. Maybe not because of that freedom, but because of how the world is. I lost the Bear School, Heron Kaduk, my home, my first home, when I was happy and complacent and in love. And it was so easily taken from me. When maybe a quicker mind, a more toughened mind might have been able to change the outcome, hold things back, stop Renwick then. And then I was on my own. And then I found family in Sintra. I found Pavetta. I found Calante. I found Circe. And then when Cyrilla was born, I found new hope in those eyes. And then while I was away, while I was once again basking in my freedom, Nilfgaard invaded and took everything from me again. I had no idea where Circe was. Calente lay dead at my feet. Pavetta already gone years prior, and Ciri nowhere to be found. And my home, my second home, in flaming ruin. And I was once again alone. And then, now, this threatens me again. Vizima was only the first step. And now I have Circe in my life once more. I've already lost Nyoka. I may have sent Elodie to this doom. And I cannot let this happen again. I cannot let myself get comfortable. I cannot let myself free of this. Not when I know that I can use this to make sure it doesn't happen again. to make sure that I can save Elodie, that I can make sure that Cersei can be with her, that I can do for those that I care about what I could not have done for myself all those years ago. They may be chains, but right now those chains are all that I have. And I will kill Renwick, and I will take back Heron Kaduk, and I will never, ever let them hurt me or those I love ever again.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Ingrid's not going to respond. She's kind of just going to slide down to the ground.
If you don't mind me interjecting a point here, Lady Witcher. I'm hearing what you have planned. I. Bill behind you. You got Cersei here. You got us now, even though we haven't known you for that long. It's not all on you. Hell, I know I'd be dead 10 times over if I hadn't picked up this one. He'd definitely be dead if he hadn't picked up me.
I can see that. He is very whimsical about it.
So maybe don't carry those chains alone. Maybe let a few of them go. Because we can roll around in the ashes of the past all we want. But it gets muddy, hard to carry. Easier to let them roll away. Learn. And keep moving forward. God, that wine sings, Garcy.
She's...
Yes.
Ingrid's face is still steely, but there's tears starting to crop up at the corner of her eyes. Those eyes turning for a moment from Calamus to Relg and then to Cersei. Maybe you're right. I just don't... I can't lose anybody again. Not like that, not when I have the power to. And she's going to say, but maybe there's something that I could let go of. Cersei, I'm sorry. It is my fault that Elodie's at Heron Kaduk. I bid her go.
Probably would have gone anyway.
It doesn't make it better, but we'll save her. And you have my word that I will give whatever it takes to make sure that she is safe. You're muted. Or
Oh, I said
didn't
thank
pick
you. It didn't go through.
Ingrid is just going to nod She's going to pull out her silver sword and start sharpening it.
Calamus is just gonna stand up and stretch. Take a rip on their wineskin. Like, I don't want to draw this out any further, but I will say this in its finality before I get pretty good all brushed up and ready to ride. You're living with a lot of fear, Ingrid. I've seen you in battle now. You are fierce, strong, but true courage, real courage, is choosing your own way. You are not the sum of any parts. You are not Ingrid of Sintra. You are not Ingrid of Hernkduk. You're Ingrid. And it might not mean much. But I really like Ingrid. Calamus will walk over and start to get pretty good all brushed up and fed and get the reins tightened.
Ingrid just does smile at that a little bit. And she's going to pull out her notebook, a little charcoal pencil, and take a few notes.
Ingrid,
Rogue's
does the
gonna
horse
start.
drink wine?
I swear to
Um,
God, if you feed another horse wine just to see what happens, I will stab you.
That one horse in Drendon loved wine.
Yeah, and the knight who was on him didn't like it very much, so don't feed the horse wine. Cersei, is there anything I can help you with before we pack up camp?
Please don't feed my horse wine. Alcohol is very bad for them.
Oh, well, pretty good.
As
it
we
seems
learned
like.
last time. Just
It looks like we'll have to settle for a good brushing.
Cersei, her arm still on a sling, will get up and say, yes, if you could help me pack up.
absolutely.
I can also assist in getting camp packed up.
And as our heroes pack and begin their journey anew, we're going to take a quick break. As they jump into this, there will be a brief sort of time skip. I will require some rolls when we get back based on the future and possibly based on things in the past. But that is for after our break. For the time being, we will see you all very, very shortly. Welcome back. Some conversation was had, and now some rolls must be had. Our heroes are traveling southward. I have detailed to them the path, the journey that they will be taking. So, this particular trip is going to be taking about 5 days. In between, there are some things you guys would like to do, so we'll go around the table, beginning in our alphabetical order, with Calamus. Is there anything that you'd like to do along these 5 days? Conversations to be had, rules to be made, things like that?
Let's start with the rolls. Calamus is definitely, I can't do anything like when we encounter like other camps of travelers, as far as like the actual mechanic of busking, because it explicitly details the nearest town center. But Calamus is playing even for the other, camps that we're camping near and whatnot. But when we get to like a little like village or a town, just taking some time to pluck the old gut strings.
Excellent. I'll leave it to the group, as I do so often, because I'm indecisive. I'm inclined in this particular case to kind of ignore the requirement for it to be a town center, as the war is kicked off and there's a lot of movement. But I'll leave it to the group. Do we want to allow busking on this trip in campsites and such?
I
mean-
have a thing. The beginning of Blood of Elves, Dandelion had this whole camp of people just chilling with him, listening to his stories. So I don't see why not.
I was gonna say I don't even understand why busking would be just limited to a town center.
Yeah, I think if there's at least a handful of people, go for it. It counts.
Exactly.
And of
What
course,
is a town if not a handful of people?
Baldur's
Of
Gate 3 lets you
course.
play as long as there's a few people.
Perfect.
Of course,
We live by the law of Larian.
the most important, as this would affect the individual. Calamus, what say you?
I think it makes a certain amount of sense in the way it says town center, because Calamus can make a good chunk of coin each busking attempt. I think that in the way that displaced people are often not really carrying as much coin with them, because that makes you a target on the road. This is one of those rare occurrences where I kind of have to argue against my own interests.
We
I think
absolutely love that.
I think if they're traveling smartly, they might not have the coin that, mechanically that Calamus might roll.
Mm-hmm.
But if
I
it's
like
a
it.
large camp of people, it would make a certain amount of sense.
I'll allow, then, with that in mind, firstly, very noble of you to argue against your own interests. It is not gone unnoticed. I will allow one busking roll, as the rest of this is going to be relatively... Well, let's say 2 busking rolls. Given that, Relg... We'll get to that. 2 busking rolls, please, if you'd kindly.
So I'm going to roll Return Act for both of them first. The DC is set by the GM. To see, it says if I've played in this town before, so I guess it would be if I've played for these people before.
It is, given that it's on the move, I'm going to say probably not, and it's smaller villages and things, unless Calamus... Well, Calamus is a man of the people, so...
So
I'll say for one.
don't tell
okay.
don't tell me the DC. Don't tell me the
Okay.
DC. So the first Return Act roll. You said just make one Return Act roll, correct?
Yes, please.
Okay. So for the Return Act roll, that's going to be in its plus empathy. That's going to be a 24.
Excellent.
So if that beats the DC,
It does.
the busking income is doubled for that particular show.
Mm-hmm.
So for the first one, without the busking roll, or without the Return Act, I'll just make a flat busking roll. Which is which would be 23. The total of this roll is the amount of money raked in by the bard as they perform on the street. So that first one is going to be 23 crowns.
Excellent.
So I'll go ahead and mark that really quick.
As a you can mark this as crowns, and we can deal with it later.
Oh, what would the coin be?
Nilfgaardian florins. So you'll have the equivalent of 23 crowns, but they will be in the form of Nilfgaardian florins. Just for, I know that's a lot of bookkeeping, but it might come in handy later.
Yeah, I've started separate columns in my treasure sheet now. And then with the return act roll, that explodes. God, that explodes again. Jesus Christ. And then a 9? What the fuck? Okay, so that's 29 just to start. 39 with empathy. And then adding my busking, which is 8, which would be 47. And then that gets doubled. So 47 by 2 is 94.
Excellent.
Would that also be in florins?
This will also be in florins, yes. So I will get you that total once I... So one Redanian crown is equal to a third of Nilfgaardian florin. I'm real bad at math, so whoever's great at math can math that away.
I don't think any of us are.
Excellent, I love that. So 94 plus 23, if I'm not mistaken, that's 117.
Yep, 117 florins is the rake in from the 2 busking attempts. So that takes care of the rolls that I needed to make.
Excellent.
We already tackled the conversation that Calamus wanted to have with Cersei, so then it's just 2 quick conversations separately, one with Ingrid and one with Relg.
1 florin is worth 3 crowns, apparently.
Yeah. So, go ahead and pull Ingrid off to the side, one nights of this travel.
Yes.
I have something interesting. But
I'm
I have
not
a question.
Yes? What
And the
what-
question, while interesting, is not the interesting thing that I have that I was referring to.
Are you okay?
I'm giddy with travel.
Traveling is quite fun. What is your question?
And please, if this is if it is insensitive of me to ask, just say so, and we don't have to speak of it.
Of course.
You
You've already
were-
heard a lot about me as it is, so I think the proverbial chain on that is broken.
You were human at one point, weren't you?
I still am.
Well, I mean, no offense. I can see your veins.
I was born human. Does the mutation? I mean, a lot of people call me mutant and freak. I do not think my Witcher mutations make me less human or less who I was before.
And I agree wholeheartedly. I just wasn't sure. There's so many stories, that, you're all born mutants. It's one of the stories. That
I
you
was born
undergo
to-
profane rites administered by mages.
That is semi-correct.
What?
The trial of grasses is how we gain our abilities, and the trial itself was concocted via knowledge and understanding, the mutagens that we use to infuse ourselves that grant us the Witcher capabilities, such as our sight, our ability to drink the potions that we create, and everything for the most part. Created with mage knowledge.
Do you know how to do it?
Me personally, what do I know of the Trial of Grasses process? Because I know a lot of that's lost, technically.
That's a great question. I'm afraid I can grant you a roll.
Okay.
However, I'm afraid I don't think this will give you the information that you would like.
Oh, this is the player coming from the understanding of the process to recreate the Trial of Grasses is lost right now.
If you'd like to roll Witcher training, by all means.
Sure. Oh, it's been a while. Witcher training is just intelligence. Okay. So 7 plus 5, 12 innately plus that explodes. 30.
You know a great deal about the process that you went through, the logistical side of things, the pain, the training itself. You could recount this in detail, but the liquids that entered your body, the changes that they did to you physically, you know precious little. You know that you are somehow now more than human.
Because if I remember correctly, it's not too dissimilar for what we did with my getting the new mutagen, just in rapid succession
Much
of
worse.
specific concoctions. Really,
It is what you've done is a pale imitation of what the Trial of Grasses does to you.
I know it was bad, but worse than what Ingrid went through with that. Dang. Okay. Anything else before I start?
That's all I got for you. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Ingrid's going to say the concoctions itself that granted me these abilities, that turned me into a Witcher. I know not of how to recreate them. That knowledge is beyond me and has been currently lost. Perhaps when we take back Karen Kaduk, it could be found again in some manner. Even Cersei may be able to help us decipher some of these necessities needed for it, but the process itself, years of training, initially preparing the body for the injections, the pain. If I remember correctly, it was like 1 in 5 or 1 in 6 survive or something like that. Yeah.
About that, yeah.
The possibility of perishing through the process is severe. It is one of the single most painful experiences I have gone through. I barely recall the process, what I went through in full detail. But it is terrifying.
I mean, the mages must know.
Maybe we could ask Cersei.
I mean, the ancient ones. I mean, I've heard that there are mages that are hundreds of years old.
Aurelia might know something, or have an idea. Oh, that is, Ingrid is realizing that Calamus doesn't know that person. Cersei's mentor. Very, very kind woman. Very terrifying. She outdrank us. It was interesting.
I do that every night, darling.
The thought of Calamus having a drinking competition with Aurelia now.
Well, the thing that I have that is interesting, I'm sure you saw, Wesrold gave me the jar of chaos.
That is chaos.
Do you think we could use it to recreate the... what did you call it? The Trial of
Trial of
Grasses?
Grasses. Let me see it.
Calamus will take it out.
And she's going to examine it like closer than she did before when she initially grabbed it. I don't know, try to get a sense for it. If that's at all possible.
I need an intelligence education, please.
7 plus 0. 16.
Unfortunately, there's not much you can decipher from this. It's magic beyond what you're used to dealing with, and also you've never come in contact with something like this before. Cersei might be able to give you more insight, but at the moment it's beyond you.
I know not of the capabilities of this myself, but untamed chaos is a very dangerous thing to have, let alone using it for something like that. I am not 100% sure. Cersei may know more than I, probably knows more than I do on this, definitely knows more than I do on this. There's always a chance, but as I said, even I don't recall. There may be instruction left at Heron Kaduk. We left so many things behind on the day that we left on our exodus.
I just figure that, perhaps having another Witcher might make our inevitable confrontation with the just and selfless Renwick that much
You
easier.
want me to make you a Witcher?
I mean, potentially.
You do have the skill. After looking at what you did to that Bruxa, it was a good.
I just want to be very clear, that was luck.
Well, if to be perfectly honest, if it was to make you a Witcher, you wouldn't need that luck.
That's what I mean. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've bandied about swords before. I mean, I had a rather extended stay in Skellige. And one does not stay long in Skellige without learning their way around a blade.
That is very fair. I still have yet to be to Skellige myself, but I have always wanted to go.
I can
quick
introduce
storyteller
you to a
question.
wonderful gentleman there. I think you'd really like him.
I do know a Skelligan. One second. His name is Verum, but he is a traveling merchant of a sort. He has told me some stories of Skellige.
Well, you'd make a killing there, because there are no witchers in Skellige, and there are tons of harpies.
That sounds lucrative. I will have to keep that in mind once Renwick is dealt with and once we are safe to move about. Okay, storyteller, would it be possible for, like, if Ingrid had the necessary concoctions, could she turn Calamus into a witcher? Does she have the know-how, confidence, you would say, for that?
The confidence aspect is entirely up to you. 30% is the success rate. And those were young people in the virility of life. All things are possible. This isn't like the Jedi where you need to be a certain age, but this is,
I kind of figured it was kind of like your body is still developing, so this is going to help. This is going to, like, the change is going to be a little easier.
Yeah, this is... I can't give you a definitive answer. It's entirely up to you how confident you are. It's possible. All things are possible if you have the right tools. If it's going to be successful, 30% was the success rate for the young boys and young girls that were selected as children.
Ingrid is going to look to Calamus, and you could probably tell, like, for a moment she was like furrowing her brow, just thinking about things, and she's just going to say, should we ever have the concoctions and you wish to go through with it, I believe I could recreate the Trial of Grasses for you, if that is your desire, but it is usually done on the young. And I mean that because of how much it's going to rack your body, how much it's going to change you. You are older, much older than the usual candidate. I was taken to the Witchers at 9, and I underwent the change at 12.
A few days ago, you're telling me I'm young, and now you're telling me I'm too old. To answer your question, Ingrid, I recently turned 20.
A smile. So young. I was 20 when the events of Heron Kuduk happened.
I left home at 13. I traveled on my own, and I made my way. There was this gambler that we met in Curdwen. Relg was advising him not to bet anymore, and I'll never forget what the man said. He said, "Never tell me the odds."
Very well.
I think if we find the tools and proper avenue, it is a sacrifice I am willing to make.
I would like to human empathy or human perception Calamus on his on his full intention on wanting to become a Witcher.
By
Is
all
that okay?
means, Calamus, you may roll whatever you'd like in defense, or you may choose not to roll. It's entirely up to you.
That explodes. So that's
And as a
25.
note, Calamus, feel free to keep whatever you choose to roll to yourself, be it deceit, charisma, persuasion, performance, and that is included from me.
25, by the way.
I fully intended to keep it to myself if I wouldn't have botched. In a rare moment of Calamus being able to be seen himself, I rolled a deceit.
Calamus, with a botch, I give you free rein to spill your guts about what Ingrid sees.
I think when Calamus says that's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make, there are a few little obvious things, and I will let you draw your conclusions from them as you wish. First, as Calamus kind of looks back over his shoulder at Relg, and I think that based on the conversation they had before this, Calamus talked a lot with Ingrid about fear. And I think Ingrid would get this sense that there is a definite fear or anxiety that surrounds Calamus that has some connection to Relg. And I will let you draw whatever conclusions you would like from that.
Okay. Ingrid's studying Calamus for a moment, probably noticing that little look back to Relg, and then remembering the conversation that she had with Relg the other day. Ingrid is going to, and I guess damn, that conversation that you had with Ingrid, it did. Even though she does think you're just young and full of optimism, a lot of the words that you said reminded her of someone that was very close and very dear to her, and it did hit home. And she's going to do something that she doesn't usually do to a lot of others that she doesn't really know. And she's going to attempt to hug Calamus. And does he let her? That's the question first.
Yeah, for sure.
And then she's going to say, you mentioned fear being a chain, but fear is also a strength in of itself. Using it to protect oneself and those they love is something that is powerful, and it's okay to be afraid. Becoming a Witcher is not an easy path. It is one that comes with a lot more chains, as you've seen them with me. Should you decide you want to, I will help you. But make sure you think about this thoroughly and through. I will train you if that is what you want. For if you are going to undergo through the trial of grasses even a year or 2, or however long it takes from now for us to find it, you will need to train your body to be ready for it.
You know, I've never been lacking in courage, or intelligence, or wit.
I have seen that firsthand already.
There's one thing that you all have that I don't. And it's the thing that terrifies me the most.
What is that?
Time.
You're young. You have plenty of time.
And yet when I am your age, I will be bent, hobbling. When I'm Relg's age, if I'm lucky enough to live that long, I'll be bedridden.
Well,
I'm just a man. And I don't say that disparaging it. I know what I can do. I'm limited by this weak sack of flesh I was fucking stuck in. And I want more. I deserve more. I deserve more time with him.
she's just going to squeeze Calamus in that hug. She's not let go yet, by the way.
I deserve more time.
Then let us find the trial of grasses and see what we can do. We will do this together. You have my word. You should tell him, by the way.
I am a man of great courage. But I don't think... No. You're right.
She's gonna come out of the hug and just have her hands on your shoulders then. As someone who has loved and lost, it is always the words that are unsaid that haunt you the longest. As you said, time is too short, even for a witcher, even for a mage, even for one of the elder. It is... Never let words go unsaid, even if they would hurt you, for their answer. I would give anything to have but a single word with Aaron again. Don't let this pass you by.
Before the war, Mouse Sack when he came to the shop and we talked. He told
Very
me that
curious man.
those that we love simply stand on the other side of the river and wait for us to cross.
Nice
There is not a
words.
single doubt in my mind that your Aaron is not standing across the river, proud of who you've become.
Oh. Where there was a steely expression, but a moment ago, her jaw slightly hangs open for a second, and you can see the tears forming at the corners of her eyes. And she's just gonna smile, then she's gonna say, that's a very lovely thought. I don't know if I would deserve that.
The only person who would tell you that you don't is yourself. And I don't think Aaron would want you to tell yourself that you don't deserve that.
You remind me of him, you know.
Well, if I remind you of him, then he definitely wouldn't want you telling yourself that.
He was
Maybe.
very optimistic, like you. He liked flowers, and he saw me from me. And out of all of those that I grew up around, all of those who came to know me, he was the only one that saw through my shell. And his death is what drives me. Every night I see him die, again and again and again, by the hand of Renwick. And I know...
Please, finish your thought. I get overzealous sometimes.
In my, what's the phrase, heart of hearts, I know that Aaron wouldn't want this from me. Wouldn't want me to be lingering so much on his death, on all of this, but I cannot let it go. And I will not let it go, even if I know that he may not like the person that I have become. And that saddens me, but if I can make this place safer for those else that I love, that I care for, I would do anything.
Let me leave you with a thought in 3 parts. Part 1. Love is unconditional and irrational. To think that something so little as you growing would make him not love you is frankly silly. Part 2. Pain is a symptom of love. It is not the pain that defines you, Ingrid. It is the love you shared and continue to share that defines you. And the third part. Be assured that he stands on the other side of the river. Take a moment to stop and wave back. As you said, time is short. You'll join him soon enough. So wave back while you still have the luxury of waving across the river. It's a novelty, much like wool gathering or cloud gazing. But take a moment to wave back to him. Calamus will just kind of rub Ingrid's shoulder for a minute. Now, I'm going to get inexorably blackout drunk. And I would invite you to join me.
With that conversation having been had, going to take a break from your downtime activities, Calamus. Cersei, if you would kindly, you have things to do during this brief journey.
Well, the thing about this brief journey is it's a little too brief. It's 5 days, but I need 7 days to learn a journeyman spell.
Yes, indeed, but you can begin the process and make rolls.
Yes.
So, would you like to do so on these days?
Yeah.
You need to make
18.
a DC of 18. There are 4 learning checks that you would need to make. So, I'm going to say, during these 5 days, you'd be able to accomplish 3 of them. Let's see if there are any days added due to failed checks. So let's have the first roll, please.
Okay. Well, I have a 19 innately.
Yes, but it is always possible that you botch.
I know. So I'll just tell you if I botch or not. Rolled a 4.
Excellent.
I rolled a 10.
Excellent.
And another 4.
Excellent. So you are well on your way to to learning your journeyman spell.
Hell yeah.
Cersei has the book in one hand and is practicing teleporting or displacing rather objects first. And then she
Go on, please.
No, I'm just saying, and then she would move up to kind of blinking herself a few feet forward.
As if your companions were to catch you in this act, what does this training look like? What is what's the effect here? If you don't mind me asking you to narrate.
She'd be sitting in the cart displacing objects, and they would just move from one place to another without actually being moved physically. And then she would step outside and kind of a little ways from the campfire to make sure nothing catastrophic happens. She would then start displacing herself a few feet forward, backwards, to the side, and what it looks like is like a red tinted light that kind of comes down on her, and then it comes up when she reappears, but it's very, very quick.
Does it look kind of similar to what Wesrold did?
He did fire.
Okay.
So not entirely.
Okay.
Yes, her magic is very red and like misty.
So
love
anyone
that.
who is nearby or happens to be in the vicinity while Cersei practices, it's interesting to watch the progression of small objects, bits of fruit, and then suddenly Cersei is displacing back, forth, just a few feet. It's strange to even see the progression in these next few days. The first time that Cersei does this, it's simply as if a quick movement, a flash of speed, surely still capable of being grabbed or harmed in that moment. But as it progresses throughout these 5 days, there is no speed, merely disappearing, reappearing. It's quick, instantaneous, almost. Almost have it, Cersei. Just a few more bits and pieces of practice.
I make sure I don't teleport myself X amount of miles away.
Indeed. Is there anything else you would like to take care of, Cersei?
I know Cersei wanted to sit down with Ingrid for a minute and talk about something very quickly.
By all
I would
means.
actually probably say, probably after watching you teleport a few times, she would have probably come over and like been like, what are you doing? Or is everything okay?
Of course, I'm learning to teleport myself.
Oh, that's going to be quite handy.
Yes, no more Bruxa running up on me and me having to risk being attacked while I run away.
I could imagine you're not very meant for the physicality of combat.
No.
But, yes. Um,
Speaking of magic, Ingrid,
yes.
how many times have you set yourself on fire now?
Ingrid flushes a little bit and kind of looks down to the ground as a child that's been called out. And probably not just the couple of times that it's happened in this campaign, but also in her backs and like the before times. This is probably a recurring thing, and she's probably going to say, "Oh, it's happened more than a few times, especially when I was first learning Igni."
Well, first learning is different than when you're purposefully taking the risk. I don't need to tell you this. Chaos is incredibly volatile.
Of course.
And I don't want to see you hurt yourself trying to be heroic.
You're right. After all, if I'm hurting myself in the end, I won't be able to protect anyone.
Plus, how many times do you really want to go to the process of healing burns? Can't be comfortable.
I mean, my skin is amazing after the fact.
Oh, there's that.
But you are correct. I should learn better control and not lash out. Admittedly, as you may have guessed, you are close to me after all. My emotions have been running high.
Of course.
I need to be stronger to take on Renwick. Not only my physical body, but my magic. I must be more potent. I must be better. Fire is best against his kind. Would you train me? Would you practice with me?
It would be my pleasure.
Ingrid's gonna hug you.
And aside from that, I don't know if I can do this in the amount of time. I wanted to make an education roll on the jar as well.
Absolutely. That's a simple matter. By all means, either an education roll or
Magic training?
Yes.
That's only a 6. It's fine. I need to double that.
I wanted
Okay,
to know that my education was 0, by the way.
5 plus 6 is 11 plus 10 is 21.
21. What are you hoping to glean? Just the specifications of the jar itself?
Is it possible to be exposed to chaos without and coming out not dead but transformed?
Changed. Well, I'll give you this first, and then I will answer your question. Firstly, we may have gone over this already. You know that this is a spell jar.
Mhm.
The contents of this will leak out at random spell. Exposing yourself to this could be quite disastrous. It's also only meant to last 6 days.
Oh.
Then it will fade. However, with your roll, it's quite high. It feels different. It feels more powerful. It feels as if there's more stuffed in than there should be. And it feels like almost like it's self-sustaining. Whatever, perhaps wherever this was created, it's going to last a lot longer than 6 days. There's plenty of time to figure out the answers to your questions. It is indeed possible to be exposed to chaos without it being a detriment. It's just incredibly risky. It would require the proper procedures.
Would I have any idea what the procedures would be?
A spell jar, once opened or broken, will do what it does. It's like a grenade. Once you pull the pin, you know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You need a way to let it leak out. And if you wish to guide it towards something or into somebody, you need a method to do so.
Could I learn a ritual?
What kind of ritual?
Something where, I don't know, where you channel a source of chaos into something else.
You could construct such a ritual, yes.
Perfect. We can talk about how to do that.
Understood. Is that all you have,
Oh, no.
Cersei?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. That face that got
There you
frozen
go.
on there for a
Perfect.
second was amazing, by the way.
That was an
Right.
absolutely lovely smile that you got frozen on there for a second.
Oh, well, thank you.
Is that all you got
That's
for us,
all I
Cersei?
got. Yeah.
Perfect. Relg, if you would kindly, your time during this journey.
For the good of everyone, when Cersei is practicing magic, Relg does go forward, making sure that, we have components for whatever Cersei needs, whatever Calamus is using for poisons these nights. Like,
Ingrid
And
reads
when-
for
and when we have time, sword training with Ingrid.
Oh no, I was saying Ingrid needs stuff for potions.
Oh, perfect!
Yeah, I have Witcher
Sword
potions.
training
there.
in exchange for your Witcher potion ingredients.
Okay, that works.
Perfect. And when we stop at those campsites that Calamus busts at, case in the area. Let's see if there's anything worth relieving the campsite of. I'll make
Understood.
traveling for them easier anyway.
So, for your purposes, we're going to consolidate your rolls rather than have you make a roll for each day or each opportunity.
Perfect.
Let's get the theft out of the way first.
Crimes.
Perfect. We're gonna case the area. Perfect. Okay. 10. That's a 13. All right.
13.
Mm-hmm.
It's not awful what you do. It's just that the areas that you're in and the people you encounter along the road are, much like Calamus said, traveling light. And you grab a bit of coin, you grab some valuables if you wish. Is there anything in particular you'd like to grab? Or anything you'd like to avoid grabbing?
Ooh. Since we're in war times, if there's any sort of letters that they're carrying about moves, we're just gonna with that information.
Understood. You absolutely may do this. As far as the goods that you acquire, they are of varying degree. We'll say, if you were to get rid of them, if you were to sell them, you would be able to make... I need to do some quick conversion here, as we are in Nilfgaardian Florins. You would be able to make probably about 60, maybe 70 Nilfgaardian Florin. And then of the coin that you gather would be about 30.
Okay. 16 items. 30 coin. Okay.
That'd be 180 crown. Neat. Gotta find a bank.
Let's take care of your foraging.
Yes, which is wilderness survival, which I don't have as many points in. If only it were forgery.
Oh no, I have 4 in
Ooh,
wilderness survival.
that explodes. You get to stay die. No die jail for you. So, 18. And it's intelligence, right? Or
Wilderness survival is intelligence, yes.
18. So that's 20. That's a lot better.
20.
Mm-hmm.
So, depending on what you'd like to grab.
You can stay right there.
Some of the simple things you can grab is a number of feathers. You can grab, of course, there are stone and things. There is a bunch of bits and pieces that people wouldn't think to grab. Are you specifically looking for plants?
Yes.
Understood.
And probably feathers for more arrows.
Excellent.
We need to fire more warning shots soon, I'm pretty sure.
More warning shots. That's gonna that's like your ultimate attack name. The warning shot.
Rogue's warning shot.
You grab a number of units of numbing herbs. I was wrong earlier. It's not. I'd given it a name before that. No, I never knew the name. It's numbing herbs in the book. It would be 7 units. As well as my handy dandy flower chart.
Perfect. Yep, whatever Ingrid needed and whatever Calamus and Cersei can use for their alchemy things.
My most used Creations are swallow potion and vampire oil. So swallow potion is whatever the purple with arrow pointing left is, blue arrow pointing down, and green slash? Yeah, green slash.
I'm gonna nod. Relg would know what that means, as Ingrid explained it to him.
So, you have numbing herbs. You have. That is not. We're not foraging elixirs.
I mean,
You're telling me the vials don't just grow on trees?
That's crazy.
Did Return to Oz lie to me with the lunches and pails that grew on the trees?
It did.
yeah.
No.
Damn.
I want a ham sandwich from a tree. Sorry, that
Interesting.
movie lives like rent free in my head. It's like nightmare
I'm
fuel.
yeah, it is nightmare fuel. I have scenes of it running through my head right now, and
Yeah,
just
remember
I'd forgotten about it. I'd forgotten about it. Thank you, Rachel.
Remember
Thank
the
you.
wheelies? Remember the wheelie people? The rollers? With the
Just-
wheels for hands? Yay!
Calamus had the right idea. We're just gonna drink until we forget about it.
You're able to gather 8 units of. You may need to. Let me know if I'm going too quick.
You're good.
You're gonna grab 8 units of crow's eye. 12 units of white myrtle petals.
I need those.
I do too.
Perfect.
A 4 units of calendane, as well as 2 units of something that was floating in the river nearby that Ingrid would likely be able to identify as drowner brain.
River stuff.
Hell
2
yeah.
units.
Have a fond memory flashback to the first episode where Ingrid plopped a whole drowner body on top of Cersei's counter.
Fuck.
4 units of hellbore petals.
Covered in blood too.
3 units of ganache petals.
Mm.
6 units of honeysuckle.
You're okay, Stella.
And finally, there we are. 5 units of, I'm gonna butcher this, ballast leaves. Ballisse.
How many units was that?
5.
5. Okay.
Storyteller, is there
Perfect.
is there a mechanic for degradation in this game, or are we good on things that have just been sitting in our inventory?
In regards to,
I have like abomination lymphs. I have vials of brooks of blood, vampire teeth, stuff that would decay, I guess.
we can discuss that after the game.
Okay. 'Cause I just thought about that.
Relg, is there anything else you'd like to accomplish? We have your theft, we have your foraging.
I believe that's everything. I might have said something else, but I've forgotten it at this
The
point in time.
swordsmanship.
Oh, yes. Ingrid and Relg.
Probably on a foraging trip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Interesting.
Ingrid will be with you if you want.
Yep. Just have a quick conversation with Ingrid.
By all means.
So, on one of their foraging trips. So, I've gotten a bit rusty with a sword.
You do seem to use a bow quite a lot.
Bow I'm good with. Bow, easy to post up, wait for your target. But, given the times we're in, it
Quite.
seems that,
What sort of weapon do you use when it comes to melee?
just an old sword. Nothing fancy, really.
Show me.
And Relg's gonna pull out a Nilfgaardian sword.
Nilfgaardian blade. We'll have to get you a proper sword soon. That is rubbish.
It is. I've had it for far too long.
Sentimental reasons, or
It's the only one I had, really. It's what they started training me on before, well, life happened.
well, did you want me to spar with you?
I think that would be a good way to get back into shape with it. I'm hoping we don't have to use it, but...
How much is your knowledge of the blade?
Oh, if I had to take in... Squire level.
You know, it is one thing to say, as she says, as she pulls out her Ursine steel sword, the great sword, she's going to say, it is one thing to speak of one's skill, another to show. Show me what you know. And she is going to take a stance.
Perfect. Yeah. Rogue very, at this point, clumsily takes a stance.
Shall we roll off to see?
Yeah, let's see how bad this is.
By all means.
All right, swordsmanship versus swordsmanship.
Mm-hmm. And what is the
Okay, so my swordsmanship is 10 plus my reflexes. My reflexes in armor is 7, so that's a negative 17. That explodes. 7. 34.
11 plus 16. 16. I can do math. 11 plus 5 is 16.
Ingrid,
nowhere near.
It's almost... I don't want to say comical, but it's almost as if you are dueling a trainee back at Hairn Kaduk.
Interesting.
When you were
Because
fresh.
Ingrid is...
This must be how it felt when you were young, having just finished the Trial of Grasses.
Interesting. Notably, Relg, you would notice that Ingrid is not pulling her swings. Like, if it was gonna hurt you, she would, like, obviously stop or anything. But on blade clashes and anything like that, it's the full Bear Witcher coming at you with that.
Perfect.
And after, I would say after you look a little bit more weary or a little more shaken with some of her onslaught, she will pause and then kind of just jut her blade into the ground, rest her hand on the pommel, and she's going to say, I see. Quite rusty.
Close combat with a large blade is not my not something I have done in a long time.
Well,
respect to you, Lady Witcher, for not taking it easy on me.
I mean, it's the only way. If one takes it easy on a student, then they learn less.
True enough.
Um, should you wish me to teach you some of my technique, just know that I would be approaching this as I would a student of the Bear School. I will not be holding back, but if you so wish, I will train you.
Take you up on that.
Very well.
I've
Let
been...
your first lesson begin. She pulls her sword back up.
Oh, God.
It's Relg. You catch bits and pieces as you clash. I would say during this interaction, you are on your toes. You are striking as much as you can and doing your absolute best. So much so that you are not really trying to pull strikes yourself. You are fending someone off. Ingrid, however, you catch bits and pieces in the flashes of blade. She is incredibly kind. She is not cutting you. In expert fashion, she is twisting the blade as it makes impact, striking you at the flat. It will leave a bruise. It will not sever an arm. It will not lacerate. It will not cause exsanguination of any kind. You're going to be bruised heavily. And you two continue.
That's what the numbing herbs are for.
Indeed.
Ingrid's training 2 future Witchers right here, so.
Which brings us to Ingrid. If you have something throughout the weeks, or rather 5 days, I should say, not weeks.
I think a lot of what I wanted to do was kind of already done through all of this, though. Okay, when the 5 days mark comes around, are we at our destination by that time, or is that just the next day it's going to be we're at our destination?
You will arrive at your destination on the outskirts in 5 days. So if you have something for that day, I would highly recommend holding off on it. We still need to have Calamus's interaction with Relg.
Yeah, no, because I mean, it'll be the 25th then for that. So Ingrid would do something on that day. But let me think. Was there anything that anybody else remembered? Because I think I got everything that I talked about wanting to do already. Yeah.
I think so. I think the last thing for Ingrid was the beating the shit out of Relg for his own good.
Yeah, I got the magic training with Cersei. I got, the sword combat with Relg. I got the dialogue with Calamus. I guess, if possible, the only other thing is just being like, I don't know, maybe she's, studying up a bit more on, considering everything that's been going on, studying up a bit more on, like, elder speech.
Understood.
Stuff.
Calamus will circle back around to you. You wish to have an interaction with Relg. We are coming up on our time, and I can't help but notice you seem very sleepy. If you would like to hold off on the interaction for next time, that's entirely up to you.
No, I think I'm good. I think we can do the thing.
By all means, the scene is yours.
I think for this particular bit, if we pass any like rivers or streams or anything, knowing that we haven't bathed in a while, Calamus would kind of hang out in the wings until Relg went to bathe. Before kind of following him off.
Mm-hmm.
And just while Relg is sort of out in the stream, I think we should talk.
About what exactly? Sorry, I'm a bit sore. Water's nice,
See
though.
that? What happened?
Trying to get back into the swing of things. Even though it's been a long time. Bit more rusty with the blade than I remember. Getting better, though. What's going on?
How have these last 2 years been for you?
What do you mean?
I mean, we've been through a lot.
We have quite a bit of running. But it's been good.
Do you like it? The way that we live?
Depends on what you mean exactly. The running and getting chased out of towns, probably. We should work on that a bit, but we have a good thing going.
What do we have going, Rogue?
What do you mean? We kind of travel. It's always good. You got your shows that you do. I have my side business. What exactly is going on? You're has something happened? I mean, you had all those conversations with Ingrid and Cersei. Is there something going on?
Nothing that hasn't been going on for a very long time.
Did that lady break up with you or something? Move on? Or you've been what's the word? Morose, almost.
Alright, okay. When you say that lady,
I know we don't talk about it really, like
But-
when you like run off to your corner and write your letters and write whatever songs you're writing in your book, but did Ingrid say something? Because I told her that in confidence.
what did you say?
I didn't think that she'd say anything to you. I'm sorry if it caused any issues between you. And I don't know her
No.
name. I haven't gone through your letters. I thought about it. I did think about it, but I didn't actually do it.
I just want to hear what you said to Ingrid with your own words.
Well, Ingrid and I were walking back after you took off, and she had an idea of something going on between us. And I let her know that you have that lady you write to wherever she is, and that if you want, like, since we're traveling, we could probably stop by wherever she is. And
Yes. We can visit my sister whenever we would like.
your sister.
One of many. Yes. I do
So
write
if
to that. I write to that Duchess in Skellige from time to time as well, but it's not like that.
Right. So if Ingrid said anything about what happened there and it caused you to be uncomfortable, I didn't know it was your sister, which makes that worse somehow. I'll fix it. I'll let Ingrid know.
For someone as old as you really are as thick as they come.
Did I do something to you that I don't know about?
Yes.
Because if so, I deeply apologize. I'll fix whatever it is. Just
You stole something from me that I can never get back.
I've returned everything I've ever stolen or borrowed from you. Mostly borrowed.
Have you returned it?
Rogue's going through like, okay, it took that 20 from the card games and I yeah, no, I've what's it gonna take? I'll get it. I'll find it. I'll get it back. If it's something I pawned, I can
I
get you a new
love
one.
you, you thick fuck.
Mm-hmm. what does this have to do with what I...
You stole my heart from me.
Oh.
And I thought I knew what that meant. I thought I understood. Because I had heard stories and tales. Every time you pass from my sight, I am mortified that I will never see you again. When you are near, there's air in the room. I can breathe. And I don't expect you to understand. I know my worth. And I know that I am worthy of you, and that you are worthy of me. But I don't. Now that we're doing this, I don't know that we get tomorrow. I always, before, between our skills, we had our life licked. Before. We did what we knew, and we did it well. And now, there's fucking vampires, and mages, woolly hags, and God knows what else.
There were always going to be hags and vampires, and we never got promised
Do you
tomorrow.
love me?
We never got promised tomorrow, Cal.
Answer the question.
And you understand that your tomorrow and my tomorrow are a little different, right? Do you understand?
I understand that you think they're different. There are small differences. Your tomorrow is a blink. Mine is a day. Do you love me?
Do you understand what you love? Cal, do you understand what I'm doing? Do you understand where my story ends? Because you've sang it night after night, and I've heard you sing it. I'm not living through this, Cal, and I don't...
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
We've always found a way. Answer the question.
Are you okay with that possibility, though? Because that... in normal circumstances, I would outlive you 100 times over. But I know I'm not going to outlive you. You're going to live. Of course I love you, you idiot. You know how many people I've killed for you? For free?
Okay, to be fair,
You and your optimism, like we talked about last week, you and your optimism, half the time, those people don't follow through. And I end up with a knife in my gut over what you did. And I kept coming back.
I think a lot.
I'm aware. Apparently you've been stewing on this for a while. Your timing's terrible, by the way.
Only in the ways that matter. I talked to Ingrid and I talked to Cersei. I think I found a way to get more time.
What does that mean, Cal?
With this jar of chaos, Ingrid and I are going to look for the recipes and tools needed to conduct the trial of grasses.
So, storyteller question, game master question, whatever we're calling it. Does Relk have any idea what that entails?
I think from stories, likely. Yeah. At the very least, you'd have a superstition of the horrors that each Witcher went through.
At that, Relg is gonna get right in Calamus's face. Have you gone mad? Haven't... What? That... You sing songs about these things, Cal. Is it even possible for you to do that? You talked to them about it, like... You're not supposed to do anything that I can't save you from.
You already saved me.
You made me promise that I wouldn't go far from you, so don't you dare fucking go somewhere I can't take and keep you safe. Because that's what we do, we keep each other safe. That was an agreement. It was a bargain we made.
And I intend on honoring that. The only limits I have ever had is this fucking body? You were the one who said if you don't like the odds, change them. You said that.
There's a difference between cheating on dice and cheating with your own life, Cal. And your life is not something I'm willing to risk.
I love you. But my life is not yours to decide what risks I take.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
That was the thing that drew me to you in the first place. We never made decisions for each other. I don't like the odds, so I'm changing them. And we're gonna kill that fucking bitch. And we're gonna deal with this fucking vampire.
Vampires, from the sounds of it, actually.
And I'm dragging you by your clipped ears to some fucking cabin on a mountainside. We're never leaving. And anyone who tries to make us leave will die where they stand.
It's a good dream. But first, you have to live. All right, you have to live. You're gonna do what you're gonna do because you're right. We don't make choices for each other. That's part of the deal. You don't talk about my gambling. I don't talk. Anyway, not the point. The point is you live. Yeah, you live. We figure out whatever the fuck it is that you're doing to your body, and we're gonna make it happen in a way that you live. You don't get to die on me yet. All right. I was all right with the possibility that we'd get maybe 30 good years, but no. Seems like timeline's a bit shorter now, so you live. All right? That's you live.
And if we do this right, 30 becomes 300. We never shoot for a mark that we're not sure we've covered the angles.
Exactly.
Now go wash your hair. And be back at that fucking tent in 10 minutes. And Calamus will reach out and grab Relg by the jaw and kiss him. Lean his forehead against his for a moment. You are worth every risk.
Not everyone.
Look him in the eyes. Every one. Calamus will go back to camp.
A declaration is made. The River Chotla. Only 2 miles from our hero's destination, that they will soon find to be the Meadow of the Barrows, Fen Carn. This is where we'll end tonight's episode of Ways of Old. Well done, everyone. Thank you for playing.
It's been an emotional ride today.
And thank all of you for watching. We're going to go around the room and do some plugs. We'll begin with our our thief of the show, Calamus Acaris.
Hi, I'm Az on the day-to-day, but tonight, what?
No, keep going. Keep going.
No,
doing
I don't
great.
know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing.
You're already halfway through.
Am I? There's
Yep.
only 2 letters in my name, so I don't even know. I'm Az on the day-to-day, and yeah, I was Rogue, who's going through a time right now, stealing things he didn't even know about. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, thank you. As I was on the social medias, I'm very tired. Somebody else start talking.
Perfect. Calamus, if you kindly.
Hello again. I'm Avery in real life. I'm at Golden Gwydion on all of the social medias. I'm also the storyteller for Transylvania Beckons right here on the Rolling Nomads channel. And this evening I have been the love-struck lyreist, Calamus Acaris.
Excellent. Ingrid, please.
Hello, everybody. I am the Azure Butterfly, or Azure for short, or simply Rachel. You can find me over at the azurebutterfly.ttv. I am also the creative director here at the Rolling Nomads. I am Ingrid here, Jill on Transylvania Beckons. And yeah, I'm going to make me some Witchers. That's me in a handbasket.
Excellent. And last, of course, but not least, Cersei.
Hello, I'm Luna, or Druid by Night. You can find me at Druid by Night on TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Blue Sky. I am Rosalind in Transylvania Beckons, as well as tonight I have been Cersei Aveling.
Excellent. Well done. I have been your game master for this episode and for the entirety of Ways of Old. Gilbert Ramos, found everywhere at Ramos the Nomad. That's TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, Blue Sky, all those things, all the social media. Yeah, I'm just happy to be here. We, of course, have been the Rolling Nomads. You can find us right here on twitch.tv/Rolling Nomads, as well as over on YouTube, youtube.com/Rolling Nomads, where you can find the previous up-to-date episodes of Ways of Old and now Book of Saints, with Colden Twitch's Wit and Scion Godsend quickly being uploaded very right behind them. So, that's where our previous episodes are at. Keep up to date with us. You can find us over on Twitter at _Rolling Nomads or Blue Sky at Rolling Nomads, where you'll find our cancellations, our late starts, our new programming, our announcements, all these things, all the announcements for the YouTube uploads. That is at _Rolling Nomads on Twitter and at Rolling Nomads on Blue Sky. That's all we've got. We appreciate you guys so much. Yes, Cersei, you have something. TikTok. Yeah, do that. I'm bad at this. That's a new thing to my spiel.
And the website's coming.
And the website is coming. We're also on TikTok at _Rolling Nomads, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. We also have a website.
Yeah,
in the works.
_Rolling Nomads, not Nomad. That actually exists.
Of course it does. I'm not bitter. Yes, you can find us on TikTok. We have a website coming up. And that is us in our basket of hands. So...
Oh my god, you didn't say it right.
That's the point. We will catch you guys...
Yeah, Walnut.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We appreciate you guys
Don't forget
very
Waldo.
much.
We found Waldo.
Thank you guys so much. We will catch you guys next Monday, same time, same place, same heroes. We'll see you then.